Hi, this is Margo. This is Sunday late afternoon, April the 12th, 2020. I hope everyone is doing as well as possible. And so today we've got a methane update, and we're going to look at our usual sulfur dioxide and earthquakes as well. So we're going to start out though with climate reanalyzer from today. This is the 2-meter temperature anomaly map, and we're showing red over the Arctic Ocean here and red over a part of Greenland. We're showing blue over this part of the Arctic, which is, that means it's cooler than normal, and it's actually going down into that whitish purplish, going down into about like the 15 to 20 degree lower than normal. So, and we've got blue, which is lower than normal over most of Canada and a lot of the northern part of the United States, with this cold air coming down from Canada. And then we've got brown over here in Europe, meaning that it's warmer than normal, and over a lot of Russia, Siberia here. So overall, worldwide, down here, we've got the world is higher than normal by 0.5 degrees C. The northern hemisphere is up 0.9 C. The Arctic is up 3.2 C. The tropics are up 0.5 C, the southern hemisphere is up 0.1 C, and the Antarctic is down 1.4 C. Now here's the flat view. And we can see in the Antarctic, here it's, even though it's down lower than normal because of all the blue, and the sun has gone down now, but they've got higher than normal temperatures over here next to the Ross Sea. It looks like a lot of red and into the pink, which is 20 to 25 degrees warmer than normal on that. Now we'll look at the NOAA methane data from the 477/469 millibar reading for the Met-1 satellite for yesterday. In the morning, the mean, or the average, was 1893 parts per billion, and the highest reading was 2506. And so the pink, this bright pink, is the highest reading down here on the chart, and it's between 2000 parts per billion and whatever is the highest reading up here. So it's a range between 2000 and 2506 parts per billion. And we're seeing that the pink is coming further south on the globe as well. So it's going all the way throughout the northern hemisphere there. And in the afternoon, we've got quite a bit of missing data, but we'll take what we've got. The mean, or average, was 1890, and the high reading was 2351. On the Met-2 satellite in the morning, the mean was 1875, and the high reading was 2341. And in the afternoon, the mean was 1875, and the high reading was 2373. Now here's the spreadsheet and chart that we're working off of. So last week we were at 1883.75 parts per billion, and it had gone up 1 part per billion from the week before, and the week before that it had gone up 4.75. Now this week, here I added up, I plugged in all of the numbers I just read off to you, and added them up and divided by 4, and so the average for this level for yesterday was 1883.25 parts per billion, and that's showing a decrease in methane of 0.5 or half a part per billion since last Saturday. And so here it is on the graph where it's just barely gone down. So we need to see some valleys because it's too soon for it to just keep on rising. It's just, typically it's too soon. Typically it should still be going down. But we had a huge rise in methane this spring. So the increase since February 29th has been 6.75 parts per billion, and the increase since March the 1st of last year has been 26, and that was when I started tracking all of this, was March the 1st. Down here is where I'm tracking it on a daily basis now, and here's how it read for the last week. So last Saturday it was 1883.75, and then it went down. The next day it was down 2.5, and then on the 6th it went up 1.25. On the 7th it went up 1.25, and on the 8th it went down 0.25, and on the 9th it went down 1.75, and then on the 10th there was no change, and then on the 11th it went up 1.5. So it went back up right at the very end of the week, but the overall difference from the week before was 0.5. So in the last 9 weeks there's been an increase of 20 parts per billion. So there's that. And CAM's just put up their methane data for today. So we're going to look at that now. This is for Sunday the 12th. Here's the Arctic view and surface level that I've got ready to go. There's the color ledger. And here's where it left off on Saturday with this high release that we've been seeing around Severny Zemlya and also in the Kara Sea. Also this high release off this northern coast of Alaska. So let's run the movie. So what we're seeing, it'll smooth out once it goes through once, is that this just continuously releases and pulses and moves out, and then on Wednesday it's got this wave in this arm that moves out and around and circles around the Arctic. There's also the lighter color of green moving out here and then it releases here in the Bering nearly at the Bering Strait. This is the Chukchi Sea here, and it's continually releasing on the coast of Alaska there. So this is a continual release that we're seeing. There was an earthquake up here today, right up here to the east of Severny Zemlya in the ocean. There's a tectonic plate line runs right through here, right down through here and down through Iceland. And so I'm thinking that because the tectonic plate is there And this is just something's opened up and it's not closing back up now. And here it is on Wednesday where this large release, and it's in the dark brown, which is the highest level, which is between 2160 and 10,000 parts per billion. Now remember, this is at surface level and this is in the ocean. So that's pretty amazing to see it just burst up like that. Now this is in the forecast period, so we'll see as I go through these daily reports on my Subscribe channel, then we'll see if this plays out like they're forecasting here. But that's pretty disturbing to see that. Now we'll look at the North Pole view. We're seeing a lot of methane over Europe and over the UK. We're coming out of it. Waves moving across the Atlantic. There's a hot spot here in the Atlantic that keeps popping up. Here in North America, we're seeing in the forecast period it starts coming back in the US. Then here's the Persian Gulf. Here's India filling back up. This is China and what we're seeing. Now watch this. When it starts over on today, look at how it's flowing over the borders out in the ocean, and then it kind of goes back. But see, it's this wave just moving out. So there was a big release today from China. See it moving out. And see the wave here, the green and yellow moving out across the Pacific. So just because people are on lockdown doesn't mean methane has stopped. Okay, here's the global view. And I'm not sure what to think about the aerosol masking effect and, you know, the sulfates falling out of the sky and all of that. I mean, we're not sure what's happening with the heating on that yet. Nobody knows. Nobody knows if that was true or not, that with all the sulfates falling out of the sky, then it would heat up really fast. I mean, they thought it would, but now they don't know. They're like, oh, we don't know anymore. So it was a theory. There's no proof. It was a theory. So we don't know if the McPherson paradox is real or not. We will soon find out. But I do know that I'm seeing sulfur dioxide in the atmosphere like I've never seen before. And we're going to look at that in a minute. I know that methane is not stopped. Here it is at 500 HPA. That's about halfway up in the atmosphere. And we can see this dark area moving out from China and dark all the way across this northern part, all the way across the Arctic. And this is about equivalent to the level that we were looking at on NOAA. We're also seeing the it moving further south. The cloud, the greens and the yellows and the oranges and reds are moving further south to cover more of the globe. Here's total column. This is where methane is added up through the different layers to get the total. Here's China, here's Japan, and here's the red cloud moving out across the Pacific. Here's India. We can see that that's increasing from India, and it's getting a little orangey and reddish over Africa here. Here it is orange and red over South America, and we've got a big orange area coming out from the southeast of the United States. Now let's look at sulfur dioxide. Here is the global view from today. This is from CAMS, and I've been showing this massive amount of sulfur dioxide that's in the atmosphere. This started around February. It started over here in western United States, and then it got more and more and more, and then it was gathering over Canada, and I wasn't seeing tectonic plate movement or earthquakes that would relate to all of this, and it just hung around Canada for weeks, and then it finally moved across the North Atlantic, and now it's kind of settled over Europe. It was over Norway for a few days, and now it's sunk south, and now it's covering Europe in these countries here, and there's a lot. It's not as dark, but we've got a big sulfur dioxide cloud covering all of Russia and most of the Arctic. And I can't explain it. I cannot explain it. I don't know if it's where the sulfates are falling down and the instruments are measuring it as sulfur dioxide or what, but I cannot explain this much sulfur dioxide. And down here is where Krakatoa has been exploding for the last couple of days, and so what you see here is minor. It's minuscule compared to what you're seeing on the rest of the planet. Look at this northern hemisphere. And so if you think this was a lot at Krakatoa, why is no one talking about it, the levels up here? No one's talking about it except for me. I really don't understand. Here it is at 500 HPA, and see, here it is from the volcano, but that's minuscule. It's nothing compared to what's gathered up here. Look, and they're not earthquakes up here releasing this. They're not tectonic plates releasing this. We've got another release over here in the western US. We had one yesterday, but this is a new one. This is Popocatépetl, the volcano that's going off all the time. Here is what's left over. There had been a big release down here in the Indian Ocean for 2 or 3 days, and then finally, well, we had a couple of 4-point-something earthquakes up here, but we finally had a 6.1 down here in the southern Indian Ocean that I think could correlate to all of that release. Here's the North Atlantic view. So here's the UK. Here's France. This is Spain, Portugal, and see we've got a release here in the middle of the Atlantic Ocean, and or a gathering, a release or a gathering, I don't know. And then here's this huge cloud. You know, it just looks like the gates of hell have opened. I don't know. I really don't have an explanation. And I wish a climate scientist would come forward and give an explanation, a plausible one at least, or at least talk about what it could be. I don't know. I'm inviting any climate scientist to talk about this, explain where all this sulfur dioxide is coming from and why it's gathering at 500 HPA and just hanging out. You know, this is not from earthquakes, and it's not from toxic chemicals. We're all on lockdown. Look at that. That's at 500 HPA. This is the European view. Here's the East Tropic view. Now here's the volcano going off. So you see that's just tiny compared to all this up here. You would think someone would be talking about this. And here it is at 500 HPA. There's a new release up here in China. That could be an earthquake. Here's the Pacific view. I'm sorry, I said China. That's in Russia there. Here's this new release, kind of starting in the Pacific and moving across. Here it is at 500 HPA. Now see, that's a definite, that looks like that could be an earthquake that's going to happen. Here's the North America view. Now see the sulfur dioxide cloud from the Pacific going all the way across. And the highest point is to the east of Salt Lake. This is Salt Lake here. Yellowstone is right up here. Here it is at 500 HPA. And so we can see the largest amount is just to the east of of Salt Lake, and it's also over this whole area of where all these earthquakes are happening from, coming down from Reno down through Mammoth Lakes and down into the Searles Valley Ridgecrest area, and then this area that moves up. It's a whole, I think here this is released from the ground because of all the earthquakes. And we had that what was it, a 5.3 that was downsized to 5.2 here near Mammoth Lakes yesterday, and it's been rocking since then. Here's the North Pole view, so we can see that the whole northern hemisphere is covered up in sulfur dioxide pretty much. But mainly, and this cloud had been over here for weeks, over Canada, just hanging out, and now it's just hanging out over here, and it's not really breaking up. Here it is at 500 HPA, and see, here's a high point here over the Arctic. If we zoom in, see, here's a high point there. So it's over the ocean, and when it rains or snows, it comes down through the sulfur dioxide, and it makes the rain or snow acidic, and so when it falls onto the ice, it'll eat it up very fast, and it also deteriorates the ozone layer. And we've seen a big ozone hole up here the last few weeks. Here's the South Pole view, and here it is at 500 HPA. And here's a picture of the Arctic earthquake this morning. Right here, this is the Laptev Sea. Here's Novaya Zemlya. Here's Severnaya Zemlya, this group of islands. And we can see this tectonic plate line runs right along here, and there's the earthquake right next to it. It was a 4.3. It came in at 4:57 a.m. Pacific time. So this is very near where all that methane's coming up. That methane is coming up all around here. Here's the big earthquake in the southern Indian Ocean right here that came in this morning or last night at almost right at midnight, 11:57 p.m. So it's a 6.1. They're calling it Amsterdam Island, France. So I guess France claims this island. It came in right there, and we were seeing sulfur dioxide over here at Reunion Island for a few days, and then it was coming out and smearing down and around. So that was showing when we see sulfur dioxide releasing like that, it's a sign that there's plate movement and it could be an earthquake coming. And if there's a big pocket of sulfur dioxide, it can be released as the plates move. And I've been taking pictures of this Searles Valley Ridgecrest area every day since last summer, since we had the 7.5 earthquake here on July the 4th. And there were 42 here today out of 467 earthquakes worldwide. And that's all of my pictures. Now, before we look at earthquakes, I just want to show a couple of things on NASA Worldview. First of all, down here, we can look at Krakatau. Here's Java, Indonesia. Here's Sumatra up here. Krakatau it's not this island, it's up here. It's a little tiny, well, gotta find it. It's in between. It's right here. And there are a group of islands here, but the volcano is on this one. Right there. And what we can see is the smoke. See the smoke going off here? That's from the volcano. This is today. So it's still smoky. Here it was yesterday when it was exploding. And so this white, that's from the volcano, I'm thinking. I don't know how much of this is clouds and how much is from the volcano. This could all be from the volcano, as far as I know. And the day before, it looked like this. Nothing. Not much of anything. So yesterday, thinking that's all from the volcano, and here it is today with the smoke. So there's that. Now I wanted to show in the Antarctic, this is what it looks like today. The sun's below her, the horizon. So the light here is just like twilight that they're still able to see. But this is because the sun has gone down, and it will fill up, the black will fill up this whole picture with the sun gone down. Now we've been watching this A68 iceberg that had broken off of the Larsen C ice shelf a couple of years ago. Here it is, and it's all broken free, and it's moving out into the ocean. Let's go back another day. Wait, it's all cloudy there, and you can see that it's starting to break up. You can see all the pieces here. It's in choppy waters. It's very windy, and the waters are real choppy. And so it's, now that it's not lodged in from the other sea ice, it could break up pretty fast. And if it moves on out and gets into a bunch of rain, it'll melt it really fast. But we can see all those pieces? That's where it's just breaking up on the edges. So we've been watching this ever since it first came off. It's still huge. I think it'd be fun to be on it and ride it. Then down here, we can see what Pine Island Glacier is looking like. Okay, here's the rest of the pieces that had broken off, and it had kept breaking off. Little zigzags here after the big one broke off. The big piece broke off this year right across there, and those pieces are all gone. They're all down here now. So there's that. Here it was yesterday. There it was on the 10th. Here it was yesterday. And then here it is today. Let's see, it's already in the dark. Then there's another iceberg that we've been watching, the D28, that has broke off of the Amory ice shelf. It broke off right here. See this line? I'll go back. See if we can get a better view. Can't really see. There's a line here. This whole area broke off, and it was called D28. And it's right over here. Right here. It's turned around. It looks like it's going to get caught up in the sea ice. So it's not going out to sea yet. Not like the A68. So we'll be watching that next year if we're still here. Oops, didn't mean to do that. We've also been watching this brunt ice sheet here, and it never broke off. We were watching right here. It's been cracked. Lots of cracks running through it, but it's still intact. So that's kind of amazing to me. And we can see the sea ice here. This is the Weddell Sea that's frozen back. And we can see sea ice coming back here now. It's cold, and you know, once the sun goes down, that sea ice, it'll come back all around the edges. And let's see, down here, the Ross ice shelf is already all in the dark. This is the Ross right here. So sun's gone down for them. And now we can take a peek at the Arctic sea ice. It's still coming back and thickening till about the end of April. But the sun is up. See? There's no dark spot, no black spot in the middle anymore. And the sun is coming up higher and higher and higher. And as the earth is tilting, the northern part of the earth is tilting towards the sun. So we're heading into spring up here, and the sun will not go down for about 6 months. So here's Svalbard. Here's the edge of the ice here around Greenland. This is Russia. This is the Kola Peninsula here. Top secret. Here's Novaya Zemlya. We can see it's melted right around the edge here on this east side. Here's the Yamal Peninsula. Here's where the icebreaker was, and right here. So here's Severnaya Zemlya. Wait, where am I? Right here. This is where the methane's coming up. That huge, it's coming up through the ice. So the ice does not keep it out. We can see a lot of cracks there. This is a pretty good view. Well, in fact, this is a really good view. There are no clouds here right now. But look how thin it is around here. I don't know if that's from an icebreaker. It could have been. But methane is just spewing up there constantly. We can see the ocean through there. There's no ice right there. You see? So around the coastline, it's already melted. I don't know if it ever really came back that much around the coast. Look at this. We're looking through clouds, but you can see that there's very little ice. So already this will melt quickly. This will melt very quickly. And this area is the East Siberia Arctic Shelf, where Natalia Shakova did her famous research and found that there was so much methane stored up here, and her fear was that as the Arctic warmed and the water warmed, that the methane hydrates that were stored in the sediment would be melting to the point where we could just blow. She was talking about a 50 gigaton methane bomb going off. So it's this whole area. But we're already seeing it coming up over here. And the tectonic plate line comes right through here, and they keep having earthquakes. That earthquake was right over here. So it's unstable, to say the least. Oh, and I would like to thank people who have donated to me. In addition to my Subscribe members, I've gotten a few new members recently, but I've also gotten some donations through PayPal and through Subscribe, and I'd really like to thank all of my contributors and my subscribers. It's really helping me out. Every little bit helps. I really appreciate it. It's not the amount, it's the thought that counts. The thought that, you're supporting my work. And I know money is tight for so many people, and I don't know what's going to happen. So, and my YouTube subscribers, appreciate you too. So if you can't donate, just give it a thumbs up and share the video. And pray for me that I'm safe and am able to keep reporting for you guys. And I will keep reporting as long as I can. As long as the internet is up and I'm able to, I will keep on reporting and showing you what I find. Now here's the Baffin Bay next to Greenland. Now look up here. Look, that's already melted. This will go quick. See? Look at all of that. That's already melted there. So that will go very quick. And see, you can see the rocks there. There's like, look how the ice has already retreated, or I don't know if it never came back. I don't know. Here's this northeast part. See? Very little. And here's this north of Greenland. See, it's already cracked up. And the thick ice used to live right over here, right along here, and along this northern part of Greenland. That's where all the thick ice used to live. Used to be really thick, like 20 feet thick, or thicker. Not like that anymore. Look, you can see the line. There's no ice on that line. That's thin right there. We're looking through clouds, but you can see where the ice edge is. And the cracks coming through. So, there's that. Sad. But this is what's happening. And now, I'm continuing to read in the prophetic books of the Bible. I finished Isaiah, all 66 chapters. There are 17 prophetic books of the Bible. The next one is Jeremiah. I started this project last year sometime. And I stopped when I was just doing minor reporting. When my friend was sick, and after he died, I was having to take care of everything and was very busy. But now that I'm back to the full-time reporting, I am back to reading all of these. Hopefully, not all, hopefully the end will come before I go through all 17 of the prophetic books. But, you know, this is what I'm doing. So we're on Jeremiah chapter 5. Run ye to and fro through the streets of Jerusalem, and see now, and know, and seek in the broad places thereof, if you can find a man, if there be any that executeth judgment, that seeketh the truth, and I will pardon it. And though they say, The Lord liveth, surely they swear falsely. O Lord, are not thine eyes upon the truth? Thou hast stricken them, but they have not grieved. Thou hast consumed them, but they have refused to receive correction. They have made their faces harder than a rock, and they have refused to return. Therefore I said, Surely these are poor. They are foolish, for they know not the way of the Lord, nor the judgment of their God. I will get me unto the great men, and will speak unto them, for they have known the way of the Lord, and the judgment of their God. But these have altogether broken the yoke, and burst the bonds. Wherefore a lion out of the forest shall slay them, and a wolf of the evenings shall spoil them. A leopard shall watch over their cities. Every one that goeth out thence shall be torn in pieces, because their transgressions are many, and their backslidings are increased. How shall I pardon thee for this? Thy children have forsaken me, and sworn by them that are no gods. When I had fed them to the full, they then committed adultery, and assembled themselves by troops in the harlots' houses. They were as fed horses in the morning, Everyone neighed after his neighbor's wife. Shall I not visit for these things, saith the Lord, and shall not my soul be avenged on such a nation as this? Go ye up upon her walls and destroy, but make not a full end. Take away her battlements, for they are not the Lord's. For the house of Israel and the house of Judah have dealt very treacherously against me, saith the Lord. They have belied the Lord and said, It is not he, neither shall evil come upon us, neither shall we see sword nor famine. And the prophets shall become wind, and the word is not in them. Thus shall it be done unto them. Wherefore thus saith the Lord God of hosts, Because ye speak this word, behold, I will make my words and thy mouth fire, and this people wood, and it shall devour them. Lo, I will bring a nation upon you from far, O house of Israel, saith the Lord. It is a mighty nation, it is an ancient nation, a nation whose language thou knowest not, neither understandest what they say. Their quiver is as an open sepulchre. They are all mighty men. And they shall eat up thine harvest and thy bread, which thy sons and thy daughters should eat. They shall eat up thy flocks and thine herds. They shall eat up thy vines and thy fig trees. They shall impoverish thy fenced cities, wherein thou trustedst with the sword. Nevertheless, in those days, saith the Lord, I will not make a full end with you. And it shall come to pass, when ye shall say, Wherefore doth the Lord our God all these things unto us? Then shalt thou answer them, Like as ye have forsaken me, and served strange gods in your land, so shall ye serve strangers in a land that is not yours. Declare this in the house of Jacob, and publish it in Judah, saying, Hear now this, O foolish people, and without understanding, which have eyes and see not, which have ears and hear not. Fear ye not me, saith the Lord? Will ye not tremble at my presence, which have placed the sand for the bound of the sea by a perpetual decree, that it cannot pass it? And though the waves thereof toss themselves, yet can they not prevail. Though they roar, yet can they not pass over it. But this people hath a revolting and a rebellious heart. They are revolted and gone. Neither say they in their heart, Let us now fear the Lord our God, that giveth rain, both the former and the latter, in his season. He reserveth unto us the appointed weeks of the harvest. Your iniquities have turned away these things, and your sins have withholden good things from you. For among my people are found wicked men. They lay wait, as he that setteth snares. They set a trap, they catch men. As a cage is full of birds, so are their houses full of deceit. Therefore they are become great and waxen rich. They are waxen fat, they shine, yea, they overpass the deeds of the wicked. They judge not the cause of the fatherless, yet they prosper, and the right of the needy do they not judge. Shall I not visit for these things, saith the Lord? Shall not my soul be avenged on such a nation as this? A wonderful and horrible thing is committed in the land. The prophets prophesy falsely, and the priests bear rule by their means, and my people love to have it so. And what will ye do in the end thereof? Jeremiah chapter 5. So I believe these prophets of old were seeing what was to come. And the people were the same then as they are today. We haven't evolved. People haven't evolved. They keep on doing the same things over and over and over. And Satan is just having a field day. And I believe that the restrainer's hand has been removed. And we will see more and more deception, more and more evil, more and more sin, and whatever they can think of. And I'm grieved. I'm really grieved. I was really sad today that today is supposed to be such a holy day, and we should be celebrating Jesus' ascension and his resurrection, and that he overcame this world, and that we can do the same things that he did. He said, all of these things and more you will do. When the disciples were talking about his miracles and things, that's still to come, and that's for us. He was speaking to us in our generation. This is the end time. But in the midst of all of the pestilence and the plagues and the dying, how many people are asking for repentance? Oh, they're praying against the plague. They're praying for God to take it away. But how many people are really repenting of their sins and asking for forgiveness and asking to be saved, asking for salvation of their soul, and then turning away from things that they know that are wrong? How many people are really doing that? I mean, that's what God wants. God will help us if we repent. He'll keep us under his wing if we stay close. But I don't know, I'm just real sad. So these are just some things to think about. And time is very short. We need to keep our eyes on heaven. Stay in prayer as much as possible. Stay on the straight and narrow. Do not act out of anger. Do not act out of haste. If we don't know what to do, we need to pray on it and ask for God to give us the answer and to guide us, and he will. And we need to be in truth and righteousness and in love, and be kind to one another. And forgive each other. And ask for forgiveness as well. So, those are just some things to think about. Those are my thoughts for today. So, I love everyone. I'm praying for everyone. And until next time, I will talk to you soon. God bless you. Go in peace, and goodbye. Hi, this is Margo. This is Sunday evening, April the 12th, 2020. And I just finished recording my show and I forgot to include the earthquakes. So I'm going to record that real quick. Got all caught up reading Jeremiah and doing a little preaching, and just got totally spaced out the earthquakes. So we're going to go through this real quick. There are 421 earthquakes worldwide for all magnitudes on USGS today, and we can see that they're really filling out over on this western side of the map here. Right up here is the Arctic earthquake that I've already shown, 4.3 east of Severnaya Zemlya. This is near where all that methane's coming up, right there on the red line. That came in this morning at 4:57 a.m. Pacific time in the Laptev Sea. Then over here by Russia, a 4.2, right at the end of the Aleutian Islands. This is off the coast of Kamchatka, Russia. Here's a 4.4, Shikotin, Russia, in this Nikolsk Islands region. Here's a 4.6, Shinzunai, Japan. It was in the water there. Here's one off the coast of Taiwan of 4.6. Down here at Papua New Guinea, here's a 5.1, a 4.8, and a 5.3. See, this is so much movement. It's incredible. Then down here near Tonga, 4.5 and a 4.7. That's all down there. Then Indonesia, 4.5 at Samlaki, 4.1 at Nisano Dua. Krakatau is right here. We haven't seen any earthquakes over there right now. Then in the South Indian Ocean, we had this big 6.1 last night just before midnight, and we can see it's right on the red line. It's actually on the Antarctic plate. And remember, we were seeing the sulfur dioxide release right over here by Reunion Island, and I'm thinking that that was related to the plate movement here, because when this moves, then all of that's going to move and pockets of sulfur dioxide can be released. Here's one off the coast of Oman of 4.4. Here's one in northern India, 3.8. Here in Turkey, 4.5 at Saray, 4.2 at Karliova. Here's one in the Black Sea, 4.4. So lots of activity. Uh-oh. You see that? That just now popped up. That is near Rykoki volcano. Here's a 5.2, Severokurilsk, Russia. It's in these islands. These are volcanic islands. There was a volcano right up here, the Rykoki volcano, that hadn't gone off in, I don't know, about 100 years, and it blew up last summer on June 22nd. And we saw sulfur dioxide coming up there too. Anyway, this is brand new, just came up at 6:42 p.m. Pacific time. That's 35 kilometers deep. So See, as we're doing the report, things are just rocking. It's like my dream that I had, where they just kept popping up. Here in South America, here's a 4.3, Antofagasta, Chile, and a 4.0, Arica, Chile, 4.6, San Andres, Colombia, on land, 4.8 at Rio Sucio, Colombia. Then in the Caribbean, we have 35 at Puerto Rico. Let's see how many are 2.5 magnitude or higher. 32. Oh, sorry, didn't mean to hit the mic. So most of them were 2.5 magnitude or higher. Just 3 of them were lower. Sorry. I'm hoarse. I'm hoarse after doing that show. But I wanted to record this while I was in the mood before I rest. Here in Hawaii, we have 19 here today. Here's a 3.6 at Pahala. See the red ones? Those are new. Here's a 3.1. That's at Mauna Loa. Uh-oh. Look, at a -1 kilometer depth. You know what that means. Magma's up in the chamber. Here's another one at Mauna Loa, 2.2 at a -2.3 kilometer depth, so it's up, probably on the rim. Let's see. Yeah. See, it's right on the edge of the volcano. Here's the crater here. And here's the rim, and here's the side. See all these down here at Pahala. Then up here in Alaska, we've got 41. That's calmed down. Probably all this other movement has taken the pressure off up here. Here's a 3.1 at Seaward. That looks like the biggest one. Now in the lower 48, we've got 300. Out of 420 earthquakes, 300 right here. So this is why we're seeing the sulfur dioxide over the western United States. I'll show you that picture again, in case you didn't see it yet. There, see? So that's different than yesterday. Yesterday it was up higher, and now it's down lower. And here it is at 500 HPA. And we can see it follows this line, the line of earthquakes on the eastern side of the Sierras, and follows this where they go up and up through Salt Lake and then up to Yellowstone right here. So that's what we see. It's that pattern. See, here's the line down here, and then it goes up and up here and over southern Nevada and then up here. And right now we're not seeing any earthquakes at Salt Lake City but we will. Guarantee you they'll be back. Here's a small one in Oklahoma, a 1.6. And over in West Texas, we've got two, a 3.4 and a 2.7. The reporting station is Loving, New Mexico, but these are in West Texas near Guadalupe Peak. Okay, see, Salt Lake, it's empty. A lot of times there are a lot fewer earthquakes on the weekends because the earthquake makers are at home. Like the quarry blasters and things. I don't know if they're on lockdown or what. We're still seeing quarry blasting. I think construction workers are not on lockdown. Here at the Cascade region in Idaho, 11 still here today. Looks like that 3.8 is the highest one or largest one. Look at all this activity in the Pacific Northwest. Here's your Juan de Fuca plate. Here's the Cascadia subduction zone. And all these earthquakes that are following along there. We've got a bunch. We've got 20 here today. So up here is at Mount Rainier. Look at all those. We've got 8 right around Mount Rainier. They're small, and look at these. They're at negative depths. That means, and see, that's on the flank. So that's up in the mountain. That means the magma is up high. This must be bulging. This must be starting to bulge with magma. This was a 0.5 at a minus 1.1 kilometer depth right here. Packwood. Here's a 0.4 at a minus 1.6 kilometer depth, a 0.4 at a minus 1.2 kilometer depth, and a 0.9 up here in the crater. Down here it says a 1 at a minus 0.8 kilometer depth. So all of that's showing magma rising. Here's a minus 1.7 kilometer depth in the crater and a minus 0.3 kilometer depth. So there you go. Magma is rising there. That's starting to bulge. Here's Mount St. Helens. One right in the crater, a 0 magnitude at 3.1 kilometer depth. So that's down in the earth. Then look at this. This is near Mount Hood, another volcano. 11 2.0. That's getting up there. The rest are 1s and under. None of these are at a negative depth. So 11 at Mount Hood. That's not good. So the magma is on the move. We can see that. And we can see it from the sulfur dioxide that we're seeing over this western United States as well. I think it's from these earthquakes. I think it's plate movements. But the sulfur dioxide that was hanging over Canada and is now hanging over Europe, that's from whatever. Sulfates falling down or gates of hell opening, one or the other. I have my own opinion. Down here at Mammoth, this is where that what was it? 5.3 happened yesterday. We've got 106 here today. That's still rocking, and it's kind of spreading out into Hawthorne and up here. Now let's see, and then here's Mammoth Lake. So I'm counting in this whole area 106. How many were above 2.5 magnitude? 14. So the largest one, here's a 3.0 and a 3.1. It's saying it's Bodie, California, but it's all the same place. And a 3.0. Then these are in the 2s range. So the rest of them are under 2.5 magnitude. Rocking along. Here's southern Nevada. Here's the Searles Valley Ridgecrest area. And see, that's coming back to life now. See, you can see 54 here now. So that's coming back to life and spreading out. Here's a 2.1 way over here, Searles Valley. Death Valley, see? That's right in Death Valley. Here's a new one, a 1.8 at Little Lake. So we can see the line has come back, and it's kind of breaking up and going apart, going east and west too. Here's a 2.3. Here's a 2.4. So these are getting on up there. These are nothing earthquakes. Then down here in the LA San Diego area, remember there were hundreds down here in the last few days at Anza. Let's see what's going on. We got 56 down here now, so that's starting to calm down. Let's see how big these are. These are all small. They're all under 2.5 magnitude. You're mainly under 1 or under. Here's one by the Salton Sea, a 2.2. And see, here they are coming into LA and all across. So the movement's really spreading out. And then here's this red line, the San Andreas Fault line. Here's this 2.2, San Lucas, 1.5, San Ardo. Here's one at San Francisco on the red line of 1.1. Here's a 2.3 at Kenwood. And at the geysers today, we've got 18. That's a lower number. These are small. There you have it. There's your earthquake report. .2. No, we showed that. That's it. Mauna Loa. So I'll go ahead and sign off again. I'll go ahead and add this to the other video, I think. So it's all one. You'll have it all in one place. So, I hope everyone is staying safe, and God bless you, and I'll talk to you soon. Good night.